Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure. It's always my honor to be out here connected with nature and bring this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. That is why I want to speak to you concerning the Kemetic story of liberty. Because there is a story in Kemet that will help you to discover liberty. And liberty have to do with you discovering your true spirituality, you discovering your true identity, your true nationality, and most of all, knowing who you are. Now, many of you who have been listening to me for a while now, you would know that I always teach about the Bible and how the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. How the Bible is not literal, neither is it secular history. But now, you have heard me speak many times of how the Bible was plagiarized and borrowed from Kemet. Now, when I start teaching on the internet, there are people who would have reached out to me and asked of me to get into Kemet. But I would respond to them and tell them, well, I am sharing my experience and I can only speak of that which I would have experienced. But anyway, when I look around and see many of the symbols that represent teachings of Kemet, especially the eye of Horus, I can't help but just reflect back on that experience of my awakening from within and that single eye. And every time I see that eye, I know that is exactly the eye that did open within me when I awake from the dream of life and change from mortal to immortality. So, I've never done any studies into Kemet, but I've listened to few people speak about Kemet, and I'm getting little nuggets here and there, and I can actually put it together based on my experience and know actually that the Bible was actually taken from Kemet, and that the story of Kemet, along with you understanding the Bible psychologically, it would really bring freedom and liberation to you, because it's actually a story of liberty. My brother and my sisters, when I come to realize my God self, I've come to realize that you are not free from slavery until you overcome the Jesus and Mary story that was fed to you to sabotage your true spirituality, to disconnect you from your ancestors. For it wasn't until I started to believe in myself and I totally reject Christianity and even swear that I will never put my foot into a so-called church, and not even my dead body would be going to a so-called church for a preacher to speak any lie over me. It wasn't until I reached to that point that the ancestors start even revealing more of the truth of who I am. I'm just waiting for the wind to simmer down a little. So it wasn't until all of that the ancestors were able to connect with me on a certain frequency. Now, when I speak of ancestors, I'm speaking about an energy. And this energy of which I am speaking about, you have to know that energy cannot be created or destroyed. And this energy have a certain intelligence that was before slavery. So that's what I'm talking about. So if you can get connected with the energy of those who would have existed before slavery, then you will understand what I am talking about concerning Christianity and Kemetology. And so my brother and my sisters, many of us who are here know, many of us are old souls who have come back to have certain experience so we'll be able to enlighten and uplift our brothers and our sisters concerning the true message of liberty. And that is why, my brother and my sisters, I always point you back to where our ancestors would have said, man, know thyself. And when I speak, I am speaking because of one mighty experience that I would have had that opened up my intelligence and take me to another level, which when I look at it, I can see the virgin birth. I can see the resurrection. I even had my experience just recently where all of the ministers in the churches were handing me over in a public condemnation, where they were actually handing me up to be crucified and condemned. And all of that is written in the Bible concerning the Christ. And then, after I would have had my awakening experience, also, many months afterwards, I would have had the dream whereby humanity appeared before me as a little child that was my son and called me father, and understand where it's written in the Bible that only the Father can reveal the Son and only the Son can reveal the Father, and whom, right, the Father seeth fit to reveal such a mystery. And I realized that there has been an initiation process into this kind of science that was known by our ancestors. So I remember someone was telling me about mystery schools back in ancient Kemet. And this person was telling me that the people used to go to the mystery schools in Kemet. And when I say Kemet, I'm talking about what people refer to as Africa and so on, right? And she was telling me that they would go and they would study, and then they would come out with the title of Christ. And I was telling her, no, that's not true. They would go and study, yes, I believe that. They would have had mystery schools, I believe that. But the Christ is an experience. I'm just waiting again for the wind to just simmer just a little, because I want you to hear me loud and clear. And I'm enjoying the magnetism and the life of nature even as the wind blows, okay? So let us all enjoy this moment with nature also. So yes, as I was saying, so I was telling her it is an experience of coming into your Christ consciousness that they would have. And those who would have the experience, those who would have experienced it before and were actually teachers or masters in the school or in the mystery schools, they would know, because they would hear this one would tell of an experience or a dream or something mystical that they would have experienced, and they are the ones who would have been able to interpret it. So my brother and my sisters, this message that I'm bringing to you, it's a message of liberty. And I am trying my best to get you to understand and to believe what I am telling you. Because I would never put myself on the internet before a camera and tell you any lies. Because hadn't it been for that great and mighty experience, I would have never known that the stories that are written in the Bible, they were actually taken from Kemet. And this is actually the time that I'm vibrating towards Kemet and the Bible and putting them together and understand it even more, and willing to talk to people about Kemet and tell them to look more into Kemet and do their own little research for themselves, and let you know I'm not a scholar who've been in the books and read all the books and so on. As a matter of fact, if I can get any book on Kemet, I would actually and gladly receive it, because I have none. And there are many people who reach out to me many times and tell me, you read such and such a book. I could tell you read such and such and such and such and such and such a book, and I've never read those books. But I'm saying to you, my brother and my sisters, there is a great experience that is awakening you. And until you raise yourself to a certain level of energy, vibration, and frequency, you will never understand what I am speaking about. But for now, believe yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, embrace yourself, and affirm the things that you want to see take place in your life. And I'm speaking about in the materialistic way, things that you want in your life. Nothing wrong with having them, because you're using Kemetic science. So my brother and my sisters, all you have to do is continue using the Kemetic science and continue to believe this message that I'm bringing to you. And as you continue to do that, you will get lift to higher levels and understand that true liberty is you escaping mental slavery, and most of all, escaping the Jesus and Mary story that was given to you, so that you will interpret it as literal and as secular history. So with that being said, my brother and my sisters, I want to come here to a close, and I want to thank you very much. And I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me, and what I'm saying makes sense to you, and you haven't subscribed, I really encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share this video. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.